There is something happening tonight that most people will completely miss. Not because it is hidden, not because it is complicated, but because we have been taught to look at the sky and see nothing more than decoration. I want to talk to you about what is actually moving through the atmosphere right now. Not as a theory, not as a metaphor, as something your body has already registered before your mind had a chance to name it. If you have been waking up at strange hours this week, around 2 or 3 in the morning, lying there in the dark with that specific kind of alertness that feels nothing like tiredness, that is not random. If you have noticed a kind of pressure in your chest, not pain, just weight, like something is pressing gently against the inside of your ribcage, asking to be acknowledged, that is not anxiety, not in the way we usually dismiss it. And if old thoughts have been surfacing, faces you have not thought about in years, conversations that ended badly, versions of yourself you thought you had already buried quietly, those are not distractions. Those are signals. The sky does not speak in announcements. It speaks in sensations. And right now, the sky has a great deal to say. Let me tell you what is happening, not just cosmically, but in your life, specifically, even though we have never met and I cannot know your name. Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, the one ancient astronomers called the Greater Benefic, the bringer of expansion, of abundance, of meaning, the planet that rules our capacity to believe that more is possible, went retrograde in November of 2025, 4 months ago. 4 months of inward motion. 4 months where the part of the sky that governs growth, luck, and forward momentum appeared to move backward. Not as a trick, as an invitation. And 3 days ago, on March 10th, Jupiter stationed direct. It stopped. It gathered itself. And it began to move forward again for the first time in 4 months. If life has felt like you were walking through water since late autumn, this is why. Not because you lost something, not because you failed something, but because the cosmos was pulling something inward, the way the tide pulls back before it advances, the way a breath must be released before the lungs can fill again. You were not stuck. You were fermenting. There is an ancient Roman concept, a word they used for the space inside a wine cellar where the grape juice transforms invisibly. No light, no sound, just slow, necessary change happening at the molecular level. They called it the cella vinaria, the room where nothing visible happens, but everything becomes what it was always meant to be. The last 4 months have been your cella vinaria, and as of 3 days ago, the door opened. Not loudly, not with a dramatic announcement, but it opened, and you may have already felt it without knowing why. A subtle lifting, a breath that went slightly deeper, a morning that felt, for no reason you could name, marginally less heavy than the one before it. Now here is what makes this moment different from an ordinary planetary station. Jupiter did not simply wake up into a quiet sky. It woke up into a sky that is still being shaped by Mercury Retrograde. Mercury, the planet of communication, of the mind, of the way we process information and translate our inner world into language, is still moving backward through the sign of Pisces. It will not station direct until March 20th. 1 more week. This is not a problem. It is a specific kind of architecture. Think of what it means to have the planet of expansion and faith moving forward while the planet of the mind and language is still moving backward. Jupiter is saying, you can grow now. You have permission. The door is open. Move. And Mercury retrograde in Pisces is saying, not with words yet, not with plans yet, not with announcements or declarations or carefully constructed arguments, with feeling, with knowing. With the part of you that does not need evidence because it already understands. This is the combination. This is what tonight actually is. A window where what you know in your body is more reliable than what you can articulate with your mouth. A window where forward movement does not require a logical framework, where trust is not naive, where the thing that has been sitting quietly inside you, the decision that has no justification but feels undeniably correct, is being asked to surface, not to be acted on, not yet, but to be acknowledged. because there is a difference between knowing something and allowing yourself to know that you know it. Let me tell you about Cancer, because Jupiter being direct in Cancer is not a small detail. It is the entire texture of what is available right now. Cancer is the first water sign. It is the sign of the mother, in the oldest sense, not as a role, as an energy, the energy that holds, that remembers, that knows, without analysis, when something is wrong and when something is safe. Cancer is the part of us that carries the memory of home, and not just the home we grew up in, but the home we have been trying to find inside ourselves for our entire adult lives. Jupiter in Cancer says, growth does not have to feel like reaching. Growth can feel like returning, like finding the thing you always had and recognizing it for the first time. Since November, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer has been asking us questions we mostly avoided. What does safety actually feel like for you? Not what you have been told it should feel like. Not the version of security you inherited from people who were afraid. But what does your body reach for when it imagines being truly held? Who in your life makes you feel like you do not have to perform anything? What in your life is built on love, and what is built on fear wearing the costume of logic? These are not small questions. They are the questions that, if left unanswered, quietly hollow out the inside of a life. You can have every external marker of success and still feel like you are living in a house that was built for someone else. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer was forcing us into those rooms. The rooms we had locked and labeled storage. The rooms where we put the feelings we decided were inconvenient. The longing for connection that felt too vulnerable to admit. The grief we never fully moved through. The version of ourselves that got quieter and quieter the more we learned to be practical. And now, Jupiter is direct. Those rooms are still there, but the light is on, and you are standing at the door, not because someone pushed you, but because something in you finally decided it was time to see. Now I want to talk about something else that is happening on this specific day, March 13th, because the moon matters. And today, the moon is in Capricorn, waning, 24 days old, holding a square to Neptune and Aries. A waning moon in Capricorn is a moon of completion, of wrapping up, of asking what you no longer need to carry. Capricorn does not waste energy. It is precise. It builds. And when the moon moves through Capricorn in a waning phase, there is a specific kind of clarity available. Not the clarity of answers exactly, but the clarity of elimination, of understanding what does not belong in the next chapter of your life because it was never really yours to begin with. The square to Neptune adds a layer of dissolution. Neptune in Aries is an energy that blurs edges, that dissolves the boundaries between what you dream and what you believe is real. On a practical level, this can feel like confusion, like the ground being slightly less solid than usual, like reaching for a thought and finding it already changed shape by the time you get there. But on a deeper level, Neptune squaring the moon today is asking something very specific. It is asking whether the limits you believe exist are actually real, or whether they are Neptune's oldest trick, making illusion feel like fact. The cage you have been living in. Look at it carefully today. Run your hands along the bars, because some of them are not bars at all. They are shadows. They are the residue of fears that belonged to people who loved you but could not see past their own histories. They are the conclusions you drew about yourself from evidence that was never truly about you. Neptune dissolves. And today, the thing it is most interested in dissolving is the story of your limitation. Let me talk about what Mars in Pisces means for the energy of this week. Because Mars entered Pisces at the beginning of March, and its presence is still very much active in the atmosphere. Mars is the planet of action, of drive, of the raw force that moves us from stillness into momentum. In most signs, Mars is direct. It knows what it wants and it goes toward it. But in Pisces, Mars does not move in straight lines. It moves the way water moves, around obstacles rather than through them, by feel rather than by map. Mars in Pisces does not mean you are passive. It means your action is subtle. It means the most powerful things you do right now may be invisible to anyone watching. They may be invisible even to you. The decision you make in a quiet moment, the boundary you hold without drama, the thing you choose not to say, the energy you stop giving to a direction that was never truly yours. In Pisces, Mars acts through the soul, and the soul is not in a hurry. This is important to understand right now, because Jupiter direct is going to create an impulse in a lot of people to immediately act, to finally move, to take the big leap they have been holding back for 4 months. And some of that impulse is real and should be honored. But with Mercury still retrograde and Mars still in Pisces, the action that is being called for right now is internal. The momentum is inward, not outward. The shift is happening. The door is open. But the first step through it is understanding, not doing. You are not behind. You are not late. The timing is not against you. The timing is the most precise it has ever been. I want to speak directly to the people who are tired, because I know you are here. I know some of you have been carrying a weight that has no single name. It is made of many things. The relationship that ended and that you have not fully admitted hurt you as much as it did. The version of your life you planned for that quietly dissolved and that you told yourself you were fine about. The loneliness that arrives not when you are alone, but in crowded rooms, in conversations that skate along surfaces, in the specific sadness of feeling unseen by people who think they know you well. You are not broken. You are not wrong for feeling this. And you are not alone in it, even though the particular texture of your loneliness makes it feel that no one could possibly understand. Jupiter in Cancer knows this territory. It is the territory of the heart that has learned to protect itself so efficiently that it forgot what it was protecting in the first place. And Jupiter direct in Cancer, right now, is gently asking that heart to breathe again. Not to trust everyone, not to throw your walls down and become vulnerable with people who have not earned it, but to soften slightly toward yourself, to stop treating your own needs as inconveniences, to recognize that the longing you feel for deeper connection is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the most accurate signal your body can send about what your life still needs. The universe is not punishing you with silence. The universe has been in your cella vinaria with you, fermenting, waiting, knowing that what is being built inside you right now is not ready to be poured yet, but is becoming something extraordinary. Let me talk about what this means for love. Because for many of you, that is the question underneath all the other questions. Whether you are in a relationship that has become quiet and strange, and you do not know if what you are feeling is the natural stillness of something established or the early frost of something ending. Whether you are alone and have been for long enough that you have started to negotiate with yourself about what you actually want. Whether you are somewhere in the complicated middle, loving someone, but not quite sure if this is the love you were meant for. Jupiter direct in Cancer is illuminating the emotional architecture of your relationships. Not dramatically, not with a revelation that changes everything overnight, but with a subtle shift in what you can tolerate pretending, with a growing inability to stay comfortable in what is comfortable but not true. Cancer rules home. And in the context of relationships, the question Jupiter is asking is simple. When you are with this person, do you feel at home? Not entertained, not impressive, not needed. Home. If the answer is yes, even imperfectly, even with work still to do, then what you have is worth what it costs. And Jupiter direct in Cancer is going to bring more of that home feeling into your shared space over the coming weeks. If the answer is something you are avoiding looking at directly, that is its own kind of answer. And it does not need to mean anything dramatic right now. It just needs to be seen, acknowledged, held gently by the part of you that already knows. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is not making this easier. Mercury retrograde makes communication murky. It makes it harder to say the true thing and easier to say the convenient thing. It makes old conversations resurface, things you thought were resolved, things you thought you had moved past. If an old connection has been on your mind this week, an old relationship, an old friendship, someone you lost touch with for reasons that now feel smaller than they did at the time, that is Mercury Retrograde in Pisces doing its particular work. It is asking you whether the ending was actually finished or whether it was just paused. Not every door that opens during Mercury Retrograde should be walked through, but they all deserve to be looked at. Now let me talk about what is different about this Jupiter station for the people who have been working on themselves, the ones who have been doing the therapy or the journaling or the meditation or simply the quiet, unglamorous, daily practice of trying to be more honest with themselves than they were yesterday. This station is for you specifically. Jupiter in Cancer rewards emotional work. It is not a planet of pure luck, despite the reputation. It is a planet of expansion, and it expands what you have already built. If what you have been building for the last 4 months, even slowly, even imperfectly, is a more honest relationship with your own needs and your own truth, then Jupiter Direct is about to put wind behind that work. Not all at once, not in a way that is loud or obvious, but in the quiet accumulation of evidence that what you chose to invest in during the retrograde was worth it, in doors that opened slightly easier, in conversations that reached depths they could not have reached 6 months ago, in the specific feeling of becoming more coherent, more yourself, more at home in your own life. This is not magic. It is the natural result of genuine inner work meeting favorable cosmic timing. And the timing right now is as favorable as it has been in 12 years. Jupiter will not return to Cancer until 2037. The window that exists between now and late June of this year, as Jupiter moves through the final direct degrees of Cancer, will not exist again in your lifetime in the same configuration. I am not saying this to create urgency. I am saying it to ask you to pay attention, to not sleepwalk through a window that is rare. The sleep you wake up from is not sleep. It is the trance of ordinary life, the kind where days become weeks and weeks become seasons, and you look back and realize you were moving, but not really alive in the movement. The sky does not often offer this kind of invitation, a moment where the planet of growth moves forward through the sign of emotional truth, while Mercury asks you to navigate by feeling rather than logic. A moment where the waning moon in Capricorn clears space, while Mars in Pisces ensures that the action you take is aligned with something deeper than ambition. This is not a random Thursday. I want to leave you with something. Not advice, not a prescription, not a list of things to do before the energy shifts again. Just this. Whatever has been sitting quietly inside you for the last 4 months. The knowing you have been protecting by not naming it. The decision you have been circling. The version of your life that exists in the space between what you have and what you feel you were meant for. It is real. It has been real the entire time. It did not need Jupiter to move forward to make it true. It was always true. What Jupiter moving forward does is make it slightly harder to keep pretending you do not feel it. Not impossible. You can still choose the familiar. You can still choose the version of yourself that does not need too much, that does not want too boldly, that keeps the ceiling low to avoid the vulnerability of reaching. That is a choice, and it is yours entirely. But tonight, if you are willing to sit for just a moment in the quiet, not with your phone, and not with the noise that fills the space where real feeling lives, just in the actual silence of where you are, you might hear something, not from the sky, from yourself. The part of you that has been waiting, patiently, with the particular patience of something that knows it is true and simply has not been acknowledged yet. That part of you has not gone anywhere. And tonight, with Jupiter finally moving in the direction of more, with the moon in Capricorn asking what can be released, with Neptune blurring the edges of every limitation you have accepted as permanent, with Mars in Pisces moving slowly and with soul, and with Mercury retrograde asking you to trust what you feel more than what you can explain. Tonight might be the night you let yourself hear it, not act on it, not announce it, not build a plan around it, just hear it. The universe is not silent. It is speaking in frequencies. And right now, the frequency it is broadcasting most clearly is this. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not too small for the life that is still waiting to meet you. The door that opened 3 days ago is still open. You do not have to run through it. You do not even have to step through it tonight. But you might want to stand at it for a moment and look at what is on the other side. Welcome to Vibration of Space. I am glad you are here.